An entire ocean, 3 unique regions, over 40 stops. The question is, where does it all begin? American Samoa. I have been waiting so long to make this video, but damn it, it's time. American Samoa is very special, as out of all my stops on my Oceania trip in 2024, American Samoa is first. But you see, American Samoa is also very special, not just because it's my first stop, but for a few reasons. One of them being huge. Here we go. Why am I going to American Samoa? Starting from number 3, it's quite obvious that I want to learn about the culture. You see, Oceania has so many varying distinct cultures, but a majority of them having so many similarities. It's quite obvious that Samoa is a very popular culture alongside Maori and Hawaiian culture. So that's without to say, I'm really looking forward to diving deep into the culture, to learn about the language, to learn about the dance, to learn about unique traditions in American Samoa. But apart from what you already may know and see on media, some of the fine details about the culture that I have yet to understand and know. Now, of course, there's 2 Samoas, which I'll get a bit into a little later in the video. But of course, American Samoa is American. So with that being said, there are some details that I want to better understand about American Samoa that differentiates itself, and some of the differences about American Samoa versus its counterpart, Samoa. From what I've learned through social media and some research, I want to learn a bit more in detail how the culture in American Samoa has retained itself and preserved itself, even as kind of part of America, if that makes sense. Matai. Matai. Now, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I learned something called the Matai system in American Samoa, which has been essential in maintaining and preserving Samoan chiefdom in the islands, maintaining the cultural structure of checks and balances as an unincorporated American territory. Now that alone, unincorporated territory, I want to learn a little more of. And finally, number 1, I have been wanting to go to American Samoa since I was 15 years old. Now, early on in my life, Greece had been number 1 place I've always wanted to travel to, and I eventually did in 2016. But there's no other place in the world I can remember early in my life that I wanted to travel to other than Greece. Well, American Samoa was that place. I started this journey about learning about flags around the world, and for some reason I came across American Samoa. What intrigued me was American Samoa. It's American. And when I dove into maps and research, it is a far-flung island paradise far out in the distance in the South Pacific. And that alone fascinated me. And as I dove more into American Samoa and saw pictures, it's quite obvious that it's very beautiful. I mean, from the main island Tutuila to the outer islands of Manua. And let's not forget, American Samoa is home to the furthest national park in the United States. The National Park of American Samoa. Very original. But yeah, the islands are very beautiful. Of course, as my journey of learning about places around the world continue on, the more places I wanted to visit, I have never forgotten, for over 15 years, American Samoa was high up there on my places that I wanted to visit. And because I visited Greece, American Samoa for many years has jumped up to number 1. Now, those are the 3 main reasons why I want to go. So what does that mean for intentions? Because these vlogs and videos of all the places I'm going to, I gotta talk about intentions. It's quite obvious that as a cultural creator, I have deep intentions culturally about what I intend on doing, but most importantly, what I want to learn in these places. And that's no different from American Samoa. Of course, when I travel, I like to stay with the people of that destination via couch surfing or village and homestays. in American Samoa, I'm very interested in connecting with people to do homestays where I can learn more about American Samoa quicker than I would on my own. After all, people are front and center of what I do, and they're most important to my cultural travels. So homestays in American Samoa would allow me the ability to learn more from the people, the culture, the tradition, the way of life in a beautiful way that would be the ultimate blessing. If you're watching this from American Samoa and you have anybody that would be willing to host me in American Samoa, definitely drop a comment below. There are a lot of things I don't know about Samoa that I know I'll be better able to understand when I'm in American Samoa. I want to learn about the dance. I want to learn about the language. I want to learn about unique traditions. I want to meet and learn from everyday people, things that they enjoy doing. And I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but become so immersed that I feel like part of family. The second to last thing I want to mention and talk about is something that I spoke to a couple of people here in Hawaii who have heritage from American Samoa, is that it's quite obvious that there's two Samoas, American Samoa and Samoa. And I had this thought that maybe I can document the culture and unify the archipelagos under one culture as Samoan. But the feedback I got was, if I was going to do any cultural project in both, to make their own projects to each place. And it honestly makes sense, because again, American Samoa is distinctly different as an unincorporated territory part of the United States, which means it has American influence, whereas Samoa is an independent nation and has its own unique culture different from American Samoa, even if it's both Samoa. I know that sounds confusing, but that's something I'm going to better understand when I'm there. With that being said, for American Samoa, I'm obviously going to be working on a project or a number of projects culturally. But because going to American Samoa is a place I've been wanting to go to for over 15 years, there's obviously an emotional story and connection to being in American Samoa that I'm going to be able to express through storytelling when I'm there. For story and background on American Samoa and this whole trip in entirety, it's been canceled not once, but twice. The first time due to an injury, the second time due to the pandemic, and I guess you could say a third time I delayed my own trip to be able to save up a little more for a budget for this whole trip. But that's without to say that American Samoa has been at arm's length as far as traveling goes multiple times and has been cut off from my reach multiple times. The pandemic was a very trying time, and I felt the hardest hit at canceling my time to American Samoa and the onward trip that I had planned, which is reformatted to what it is now and most of the places I'll be going. So what does that mean for a cultural project in Samoa? Obviously, I will be immersing. Obviously, I will be documenting and what I learn along the way. But what's unique and special to American Samoa is that there's going to be a little heightened storytelling of my story with American Samoa and the journey it took to get there. Again, as a storyteller, I know exactly how to tell that, and I already have ideas for it, and it's going to be beautiful. Again, I'm very excited to embark on this trip. I'm very excited to make my first steps into American Samoa after so many years. It's definitely going to be very emotional once I set foot in American Samoa, but I am ready. Now, the purpose of these videos, as I've mentioned in an earlier vlog from a couple of months ago, is not only to share and show why I'm going to each place, not just to share my intentions, but because I'm all about community. And because it does take a while for YouTube to kick in and connect with communities, I want to take this time to be able to connect with Samoans from American Samoa and in American Samoa, so they can see my face and see everything that I intend on doing when I eventually come. And on a low-key note, these videos and vlogs are like checkpoints for me, as I can look back at these videos and see exactly what I intended for the place, what I hope to learn, what I intended on doing, and what I hope to document, so that when I do document and I put out these projects, I can look back at these videos and say, damn, I did that, or I remember that, but I learned more. Because these videos are just as much part of the story than the stories themselves. So that wraps up my video for my preparations and intentions for American Samoa and what is going to be entailed when I'm there. I really look forward to connecting with all of you, especially if you're from there. This is the first of many vlogs of all the stops that I intend to make on this Oceania trip. Next up is Samoa and Tokelau and beyond. Because I am in the planning phase and I'm still working on a budget, if you would love to support me and this trip, I have set up a GoFundMe specifically for the documenting cultural aspect of this trip, including my time in American Samoa. If you would like to help, I drop the link below. Anything and everything helps and goes a long way.
This is how Palance do it.
And allowing me time with the people I plan to meet. As I like to say, this trip is not a vacation. It will be work. It will be a lot of hard work coming from just one Voyager, but it'll be worth it. Below my GoFundMe are other ways you can help fund. I have a Ko-Fi for one-time donations, a Venmo, and of course a Patreon where you can come see what I'm doing behind the scenes and keep up to date with things I may not post on my regular social media. I appreciate all you guys so much for supporting my voyages before the voyage even starts and my onward voyage around Oceania and around the world. Looking forward to the next one. Stay tuned.